What's the story behind Holy, Holy, Holy? Let's find out. I'm Reverend Jim Keat, the digital minister at the Riverside Church, and this is The Word Made Fresh, the weekly show where we talk about an upcoming lectionary passage or liturgical theme, and you can use these ideas in your sermon or Bible study or just use them to satisfy your inner Bible geek. And today, we're looking at the liturgical calendar because this upcoming Sunday, if you're watching this in real time when we published it, this upcoming Sunday, June 12th, 2022, is Trinity Sunday. And chances are, pretty much every Christian church will be singing the same hymn, Holy, Holy, Holy. So let's talk about the story behind this hymn, what it means, and an alternative that you can use if you tend to be more Unitarian than Trinitarian. First, the story. Reginald Herber was born in 1783 in Malpas, a town in England, and I'm not even sure if I pronounced it correctly. At 17, he began studying at Oxford, and in 1807, at age of 24, he was ordained as an Anglican deacon and began serving as the rector in Hodnet. Hodney? Again, I have no idea how to pronounce these things. At the start of the 19th century, the Anglican Church was officially disapproving of singing hymns in churches, and they preferred metrical renditions of the Psalms rather than, quote, hymns of human composure. But Reginald was an admirer of hymns like the ones written by John Newton and William Cowper, and so he was one of the first high church Anglicans to write his own hymns. Now, he wrote dozens of hymns during his time as the rector at Hodnet. Some credit him with up to 100, but most put the number right around 60, and he began collecting his hymns and those written by others into a hymnal, and he organized it. This was an innovation at the time. He organized it by the liturgical season, with specific hymns written for specific days and seasons throughout the liturgical year: Advent, Christmas, Epiphany, Lent, Easter, Ascension, Pentecost. This is pretty common now in most of our hymnals. Go ahead, pick one up next time you're sitting in a pew, and you'll probably see at the top little headers for the liturgical seasons. Okay, but that first Sunday after Pentecost, 8 weeks after Easter, was a special Sunday in need of a special hymn. What should the church sing on Trinity Sunday? Well, Reginald started writing, and the result was his most well-known hymn, a hymn that is included in nearly every hymnal and covered by artists ranging from Amy Grant to Hillsong to Sufjan Stevens and probably every choir around the world. And so it's fitting that churches sing Holy, Holy, Holy on Trinity Sunday because it was written specifically for Trinity Sunday. This hymn draws on Isaiah chapter 6, where the prophet sees a vision of the angels crying out, Holy, 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 as well as Revelation chapter 4, where the exact same scene is echoed with the direct quotation of the first line of the hymn, Holy, 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 the Lord God Almighty. However, ironically, neither of these scriptures are Trinitarian in nature, but pulling Bible verses out of context is nothing new, right? In fact, the very idea of the Trinity isn't so much biblical as it is historical. But that's another video for another day. And even though the hymn was written specifically for Trinity Sunday, there's really only a single line that references the Trinity. It's the final line of the first and fourth verse where it says, God in three persons, blessed Trinity. So let's talk a bit more about this line. It originates from the Athanasian Creed, where it says, in this Trinity no one is before or after, greater or less than the other, but all three persons are in themselves co-eternal and co-equal, and so we must worship the Trinity in unity, and the one God in three persons. Now, this creed wasn't actually written by Athanasius, but more on him in a minute. It was written a few decades after his death in the 5th century, after the Council of Constantinople, which was the follow-up to the Council of Nicaea, which was the one that led to what we know today as the Nicene Creed. Now, it was that first council at Nicaea that brought together the conflict between Arius and Athanasius, the guy I just mentioned a moment ago, who didn't write the creed that was named after him. Now, Arius's basic notion was that the Son came into being through the will of the Father. The Son, therefore, had a beginning. Although the Son was before all eternity, he was not eternal, and the Father and the Son were not of the same essence. But according to Athanasius, the divine nature in Jesus was identical to that of the Father, and that the Father and the Son have the same substance. He insisted on the word homoousis. Oh man, I haven't pronounced Greek words in a long time. where homo means same, and ousia, homoousia, oh that's it, homoousia, and ousia means essence or being. Really, this whole Arius versus Athanasius conflict is super interesting, and if you ever want to wade through some juicy and often unknown church history, this is a good place to start. I say unknown by like most church people. There's lots of Bible geeks and scholars and seminarians who at least dabbled, if not dove all in on this stuff. But ultimately, it is Athanasius and that train of thought that has led us to what is now the orthodox position on the Trinity, of one God in three persons, all being the same ousia, or essence, or being. But there's a lot of wiggle room on what exactly is meant by the persons, not to mention what essence and beingness they share. So for more on this, you can dive into the world of the economic Trinity versus the ontological Trinity. Super interesting stuff, but we'll save that for another video. And finally, there are some strands who are just flat out non-Trinitarian, often called Unitarian. So this hymn, Holy, 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 probably won't be the first one they turn to on a Sunday morning, but that's where William Channing Gannett, a Unitarian minister, comes in. He wrote the hymn, Bring, O Morn, Thy Music, in 1893, with lyrics that echo those of Holy, 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 and fit the same melody perfectly. Bring, O morn, thy music, bring, O night, thy silence, ocean chant the rapture to the storm wind coursing free. Sun and stars are singing, thou art our creator, who wert and art and evermore shall be. Life and death thy creatures, praise thee, mighty giver. Praise and prayer are rising in thy beast and bird and tree. Lo, they praise and vanish, vanish at thy bidding, who wert and art and evermore shalt be. Light us, lead us, love us, cry thy groping nations, pleading in the thousand tongues of naming only thee, weaving blindly out thy holy happy purpose, who wert and art and evermore shalt be. Life nor death can part us, O thou love eternal, shepherd of the wandering star and souls that wayward flee. Homeward draws our spirits to thy spirit yearning, who wert and art and evermore shalt be. Okay, what about you? What do you believe about the Trinity? What do you think of Reginald's classic hymn, Holy, Holy, Holy? What do you think of this alternative hymn, Bring, O Morn, Thy Music? Let us know in a comment below, and then share this video with anyone you think would enjoy seeing it, and come back next week, because we'll have another episode of The Word Made Fresh. Also, I need to check the recording, but did you hear any other sounds coming from off screen? You might have, because I have a little producer who has been off camera this whole time helping me make this video, right? Right? Got anything to say? No, nothing to say now that you're on camera? Okay, we'll see you next week. Bye!